Hello book friends. My name is Majid. We are starting a new series of books Consciousness in the Cell. Follow us and don't forget to like and subscribe.
How great a miracle it is TOBREATHE. From the moment you were born, you've been breathing with ease and, as a result, have been able to continue your existence. If you stop breathing for only a few minutes, this will lead to the cessation of all of your bodily functions and most possibly, to your death. Your very life depends upon a substance known as a surfactant, found in your lungs. This substance envelops the roughly 300 million tiny air sacs, or alveoli, that let the lungs take in oxygen. Surfactant helps in the opening and closing of these sacs every time you breathe, no easy task. One very important feature of this substance is that it starts being produced only 1 month before a person is born. And here begins the miraculous nature of this event. How is it that a baby, who hasn't used its lungs while in its mother's womb, can foresee the difficulty of breathing when it comes out into the world, and then feel the need to start producing this substance? How does it know that the surfactant is able to help its alveoli? What type of chemical knowledge can it use to estimate its help in the movement of these sacs? The absence of this substance, as in babies born prematurely, can lead to an infant's death in a very short time. But this seldom happens. For millions of years, every full-term newborn has emerged from the womb with lungs coated in this substance, enabling it to breathe with ease. Undoubtedly, this miraculous event is not realized through the will of the baby, nor through the intent of the mother. The one who created this perfect system and who allows it to be initiated at just the right time is God. The communication network between cells, the 100 trillion cells in our body, work together in perfect harmony. To bring this about, the cells need to closely keep aware of one another's functions. For this purpose, they produce messenger molecules known as hormones. Thyroid hormone, for instance, controls the rate of metabolism in all cells. The insulin hormone regulates the amount of glucose in the blood and facilitates its entry into every cell in the body. Aldosterone stimulates the kidneys and so keeps the level of water and salt in the blood in balance. For the production of red blood cells, the message sent by the erythropoietin hormone is necessary. Many hundreds of other hormones allow for the continuous communication among cells. Moreover, this takes place with the same perfection in every one of the billions of humans and animals on Earth. Without hormones, there would be no order in the body, only chaos and neglect. But how can one cell know what another cell should be doing at a distance of centimeters away? How does it know what hormone will bring about the desired effect? And in addition, how does it know the structure of this hormone, or obtain the materials needed to make it in the first place? The only logical answer is that everything in the body has been created with a certain plan of great knowledge and consciousness. The order found among the 100 trillion cells in every single person out of the billions on the face of the earth is proof and wisdom of God's creation and His uniqueness. Hormones are molecules responsible for sending messages back and forth between cells. Thanks to these molecules, all of the body's processes can run flawlessly. Hormones control events we are not even aware of, from our blood pressure to our growth. 1. Growth. 2. Thyroid stimulation. 3. Ovary and estrogen production. 4. Sperm production. 5. Release of ovum, and secretion of estrogen and progesterone. 6. Production of testosterone. 7. Control of adrenal cortex. 8. Water retained by the kidneys. 9. Milk secreted from mammary glands. 10. Contraction of the womb. God bears witness that there is no deity but Him, as do the angels and the people of knowledge, upholding justice. There is no deity but Him, the Almighty, the All-Wise. Quran 3:18. The source of labor pains and breast milk. A hormone produced in the brain when the period of pregnancy is complete. The abrupt beginning of labor pains herald the start of a new life. A hormone called oxytocin initiates labor and sends the first indication of this impending event. This hormone, released by the pituitary gland, has its effect in two main sites: on the muscles of the mother's uterus, and on the muscle cells that eject milk into the ducts of the breasts. The increased contraction of the uterus is of utmost importance in ensuring that birth will take place safely for both mother and infant. This hormone facilitates the strong contractions of the muscles of the uterus, but does so only after 9 months and 10 days have passed since conception. Either earlier or later could put the baby's life in danger. When the right time comes, receptors in the uterus send signals to the brain. On receiving this signal, the brain produces oxytocin, just the right molecule, and sends it to the target area, though, say, receptors far away. In addition to all this, oxytocin has another separate function, facilitating the nourishment of the baby just arrived to the world by secreting a supply of milk. Consider, how do cells in a tiny part of the mother's brain decide to produce a hormone that makes childbirth easy for the womb to perform? How can this hormone find its way through the whole circulatory system, to the exact cells where it is needed? Who possesses the knowledge that the baby needs to develop and mature for 9 months and 10 days in the mother's womb, and begins the mechanism of labor at just the right point? Does the oxytocin hormone itself consider the baby's need to be fed and set up a system that ensures the secretion of milk from the mother? Oxytocin is just one hormone out of thousands in our body. Just like it, every other hormone helps organize bodily functions, makes critical decisions, sets about implementing them, communicates with other cells, stimulates the needed secretions, determines the necessary amounts, the timing and duration, carrying out this and many other complex processes without fault. Very obviously, such a wondrously perfect planning does not come about by itself, or as a result of coincidence. The planner, creator and controller of the entire conscious organization of these hormones, down to the tiniest detail, is God, the possessor of infinite knowledge. What if you never felt thirst? Throughout the day, there are systems that detect the slightest changes to the amount of water in your body. The main one is an area, about the size of an almond, in the brain called the hypothalamus. Among other things, the hypothalamus is sensitive to the water content of the blood. When the water level drops, there is a noticeable, albeit small, decrease in blood pressure. At this point, baroreceptors come into play. Located at the aorta, where blood first exits the heart, they are involved with detecting changes in blood pressure. On being activated, these sensitive receptors immediately send a message to the hypothalamus, which in turn responds by ordering the pituitary, the pea-sized gland right beneath it, to begin producing and secreting a hormone called vasopressin, or ADH. Via the bloodstream, this hormone embarks on a long journey and eventually arrives at the kidneys. Just as a key fits into its intended lock, the kidney has special receptors that are just right for this hormone. When it reaches the receptors, they communicate the message that the kidneys need to go into water-saving mode, and the kidney cells immediately begin retaining water, to bring the amount of water lost to a minimum. This same hormone also causes the sensation of thirst in the brain. And as a result of this perfect built-in system, of which we are totally unaware, we can balance our body's water level with a glass from the faucet. If there were no pituitary hormone, or if kidney cells weren't able to understand and obey its command to retain water, we would need to drink between 15 and 20 liters of water a day in order not to die of thirst. And because we'd need to void this water continually, we wouldn't be able to sleep or stay in one spot for any length of time. As we've seen, all parts of the system that balances our body's water level cooperate with the brain. Cells in the aorta notify the brain of the lack of water. Immediately realizing the consequences of this message, the brain then releases a signal that goes to the kidneys, the relevant organs out of all the others in the body, and tells them what to do. These processes take place in our bodies countless times during the day, without our even being aware of them. Moreover, they take place in the bodies of all the people around us, and in all the people who have ever lived and will live in future. They all possess the same sensitive receptors. All their cells know how to respond to changes in blood pressure. The cells of every human being have been given this ability to measure changes in blood pressure. How did such a complex and faultless system come about, appearing with the identical qualities in every single person? That such a mechanism couldn't arise as a result of blind coincidence is clear to every person of intelligence. Also, it's not possible for this system's parts to have acquired these features on their own. Cells themselves cannot discover processes that even a human requires careful attention to read and understand. Moreover, vasopressin is only one of the hundreds of hormones found in the body. Each of the others has a similar relationship to its appropriate organ. And no hormone ever takes its message to the wrong place. Every organ understands correctly and fully the message that the hormone carries. It's patently obvious that such a system was brought into existence by a superior intelligence. The possessor of this intelligence is God, the creator of everything.
Thank you for following. Wait for us in a new part. Bye.